Hey guys, RC here, back with episode 9. Previously, I recorded and put out a options, tips, and suggestions video based on some information that I got from my buddy. And we were talking about the fullback. And let's come in and take a look just to refresh your mind. So if we look at our starting fullback here and we go into his edit card, he does have the running quarterback box as well. And my question to him was, what does that do? Does that force more carries to him like it does for the quarterback? Does it make him eligible to be put in at quarterback by the AI? What exactly is that doing? And he says that box only affects quarterbacks. So you can check it or uncheck it for any other player, and it will not do anything, according to him. And that is, yeah, he gave me some other feedback on a couple of other questions that I had, but that was the only thing that was really pertaining to our playthrough here. So because we've already done that video, that's already kind of done. So we're going to go ahead and get back into our game and the stuff you guys are watching. I just thought that would be an interesting video to put up for you guys, especially those of you interested in the option game. Just some tweaks and some things to be looking for. So our custom playbook, really based on what they're telling us, appears to be the way to go, but I do want to do a little testing now. And part of this is testing. I mean, when we're doing something off the beaten path like we're doing with this Let's Play with Oklahoma, it stands to reason that you're going to have to kind of finagle it a little bit and try to figure it out, because the nuts and bolts of the game, in fact, Brooks replied to me as well. And he said you have to keep in mind it's we're looking at Draft Day Sports College Football 2017, and the game today is a much different game than it was. We're talking real life here. The game today in 2017 is much different than it was in 1982, 1976, whatever the case may be. And he's right. I mean, we went from, just in the last 10 years, we've gone from, you know, two back sets to one back sets, no back sets, five wide receiver sets. The bubble screens become probably the most popular play in college football, for better or for worse. But, so there are some things that we have to finagle to try to get this to work. So, part of this is trying to figure out how to make it work and what those tweaks are, if they're possible. And so I'm glad to hear a few ideas from the guys that developed the game. And so we're going to try some of those. So the first thing we've done, because last time I already did the game planning and the roster, but we went in, and in fact I'm going to go ahead and do all of my quarterbacks. So we're going to just open all of our quarterbacks, and we're going to click that running quarterback box. Now this guy, for example, actually, you know what? I think he's my leading guy, so we're going to have, I mean, if we're going to run this, we have to run it. I mean, that's just how it is. Maybe not the best idea, but if we see that he can't get it done, we'll turn that off. So we've turned on that running quarterback box that we showed you in the tips and suggestions video that you can find on my channel, and it went up today. In fact, that was the notification that I just got, that it just went up. And since I just recorded that today, of course, we're recording episode 9. I just put episode 4 up today, I think. Let's see. Episode 4 just went up today. So, I'm a few episodes ahead, but I still wanted to get those tips out. But this is the point that these suggestions actually came in. So now we can start playing around with them. So the first thing we're going to do, I like my custom playbook. I think that's going to be the way we have to go. Now, do we want to go with the same playbook? I don't know. That's what we're going to do just for right now. But I think we're going to do one game with this, and then I want to go back and I want to do the auto set. And I want to do this because right now we have the last game that we did, right? We saw some success with the custom playbook. So now we can do another game with the quarterback set up to run more. And then we can evaluate those games back to back. And then what I'll do for our last game of the season is I'll do the auto set, and we'll come back in and we'll switch out mainly to the option, and the on passing situations we'll switch out to the spread, which is what we had going on at the beginning of the season, if you remember from the first video or two, and the first week or two of the season. And then we'll see with the quarterback box checked to force more runs to him, what that does in a comparison's sake. And then we can have a good idea, I think, moving into next season. Can we make do with the default option attack, or do we have to go with a custom if we're going to run an offense like this? And that's going to be what we have to figure out. And then at that point, we'll be at the end of the season, and then we'll have to figure out if we're going to continue on into next year, or do I kind of redial this and start a new series with another team, or do something different and just do a let's play. I'm thinking maybe a career style let's play, but I don't know if you get job offers in this. I'm going to have to find that out because I haven't looked at that. So that would be something else to think about. Anyway, so we've done the game planning for this week. We've changed our quarterbacks. Let's go ahead and get into our recruiting. We lost a few players this past week. We're down to 5 players on our board, 3 scholarships left. Still only enough points to really do one. I think he's dropped down to a 94, so I think he's leaning more towards LSU. And remember, I think I have postulated that anything below 95 means you're guaranteed to lose the player. I don't know that for a fact, so don't take that as gospel. But that's my hypothesis. So I kind of want to think about that and look at that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I took a picture of somebody yesterday. Okay, yes, I did. So let's come in and look at my lost targets. And I took a picture of 8 players. Okay, Fulmer I lost. He was a 94. Well, I lost him at a 97. I lost him at a 98. So it's certainly not a guarantee. I lost him at a 94. '94. I backed off of him, I think, but yeah, he fell off. Same with him, same with him, same with him. James Carpenter. Okay, my commitments and my recruiting. Okay, so Carpenter is still a 94. Let's look at strong safety, and I'm looking for Adam Zambrano. All right, the week I took the picture, which was, I don't remember what week that was, Zambrano was a 95. He went up to a 97. All right, Fulmer is a strong safety, so that's a lost guy. He was a 97. He went down to a 94, and I lost him to Florida State. Shelton Costa, I lost him. He was a 98, still a 98, and I lost him to the Aggies anyway. Wide receiver, Thornburg. He was a 96, still a 96. William Sweeney, he was a 96, actually went up to a 98, and still lost him. All right, so no, there's no rhyme or reason there. Okay, I can't make a true statement that a 94 is a loss, but certainly the lower, the worse you're going to be. All right, well, let's get back into here. Recruiting. Still going against LSU there. And you have to come in and check every week because, now we're up to 100 points. We're 10, 11 weeks into recruiting. If LSU bails on him, and they have told us that the AI, if you're playing the computer, the AI is a lot more aggressive about dropping off of players. And here's an example. So Jeffrey Lopez, 108 points. Now we're the only team after him. So what does that mean? Well, I've got 13 points left and I have 3 scholarships. Maybe I drop him down to 7 and gain a few points there. Texas is still on him. Nebraska's still there. We're the only one on Bolsevert, but I only have 10 points on him. So it is late in the season. Nobody else may get on him. We don't know, though. Remarkable, great. So I don't want to risk losing him. And again, why would you do this? Well, because, remember, when a player signs, whatever points you have assigned to him, 10 or 7 or whatever, you lose those. If they sign somewhere else, you get those back. So this is a way that we could add more points into our pool for use right now. But again, I've only got 10 points on this guy. Now, maybe in another week I can come off a point. I probably wouldn't come off more than a point or two. It's hard to tell. All right, well, let's get into... I'm not going to come off of anybody this week, and so let's look at uncommitted. That guy's bringing it down to the wire. Before I do that, let's see what kind of commits we have. Now keep in mind, you kind of have to tweak this in your own mind. If we're running a Wishbone, we've got a fullback in there all the time, right? That's unusual in today's offense. So it says we only need one fullback. Well, if I want to run this, I might actually want 3 fullbacks. I want a starter, a quality backup, and then a third guy for, oh my God, the world just collapsed, and I've got to have somebody to put there. So you kind of have to reevaluate that yourself, because I don't think we would be doing ourselves justice with only one fullback on the roster. I think I want to look at a corner. All right, Herman Doe, Jacob Farmer. All right. We'll schedule. We'll offer both. I'm going to do 6 points on the second guy, 10 points on the first guy, and I'm going to do 20 points on each one. Boom. Anything else that we really need to have? We got a commitment at strong safety, but let's see. I don't have the points for anybody. Yeah, we're down to 552 there, aren't we? All right, Eric Fritz. Now, I don't have any points for him, which is okay. Again, I'm just trying to get him on my board. Normally, I wouldn't spend that many scouting points just to put people on the board. I could do 2 or 3 and then maybe scout another player, but this late in the season, I'm probably okay if I even keep that scholarship. So, all right. Now, before we run the sim here this week, man, we can do it after the fact. And you can see the game does get laggy here at the the later in the season that you get. All right, so we're off this week. That's right. We had a bye week, so it doesn't do us a lot of good. We have nothing to compare with this little change that we've done, but we'll have that here in a little while. Hopefully you don't hear me eating too much. I'm just getting a little bit to eat here. Alright, while we're in here, let's go back to week 11. And we won against Texas Tech. And we had 17 passes. And we had 68 rushes. 3.8 and 3.8. Alright, yards per pass, yards per run. Alright, and also we had quarterback and fullback. Quarterback we had 1 run, and fullback we had 10 runs. Now this was out of our set, our custom playbook. Remember that. Alright. Don't have anything to compare it to this week, but I just wanted to write those numbers down while I was in there. So we were off this week. Training report. Alright, we got 2 more players, a free safety and a guard. Michael Bolsevert went to Ole Miss. He's one of our cornerbacks. Alright. I am going to go in. Alright, so Augustine is back to full health from his appendicitis. And Mares is probable from his sprained knee. Muller's still at full health. Fullerton is still out. Might be back in time for the bowl game. Alright, if we're looking at agility and speed, honestly, I think Muller is still our best running quarterback for sure. Alright, let's AI set all. But then I want to go into Wishbone. And this is where I'm talking about trying to be able to lock some of these in. So Augustine, Mares, Muller. Save. Alright, game plan we're not going to touch because we still want the same exact ratings we had last time. All right. Now, something to think about. Maybe we want to go to a slow tempo offense, drag it out a little bit more, because what was the weakness for the Wishbone back in the day? If you fell behind, you never could really throw well out of that. Well, of course, in these passing situations, I'm still running out of the Wishbone. That's why I'd like to go and use the default playbook and have the spread attack for passing situations. Probably need to incorporate that into a custom playbook. Um, Speaking of, if any of you have messed around with custom playbooks, are you finding a cap on the max number of playbooks that you can create? Um, I did, at least I think I did, but I'm being told that they do not believe there is one. So if anybody can give me any feedback, if you're finding when you go in creating new playbooks, how many can you do? I don't know. So be interested to hear anything you might have to say on that if you've messed around with it at all. All right, let's get into recruiting. All right, Carpenter, Lopez. Anybody on him? Yep, Alabama's jumped on him, so I need to pop him back up to 10. Farmer, now we've only got 1 week, so I'm going to max him out. And then we've got that one guy that we didn't have any points on, and Florida State has hit him, so I'm going to go ahead and revoke his scholarship, hide him, come back, and we're just going to kind of start looking for pretty much any position. Oh, another quarterback. Well, I don't particularly want another quarterback, but I still have not found that ideal guy yet. You know what I'm talking about? The one that's dual threat and everything else. Um, the only option to get around that would basically be to interview literally every quarterback at the top of the board that's on your interested list. But I think that sets you too far behind um, in the rest of your players. It's hard to know exactly what to do. Did I offer him a scholarship? Thought I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. So let's go ahead, and game plan hasn't changed. We've done our recruiting for the week, and you can see, at this point, it's a lot less than it has been, especially earlier in the season. It takes a lot less time. Um, but I mean, I'm playing these games with you in real time, so I mean, the seasons are pretty in depth. All right, we're playing Temple this week, so let's go ahead and sim. Waiting. All right. So, anticipation awaits. Let's go back to week 13. We won the game. We're 10-1. All right, now remember, this is the game that we kept the same game plan, same playbook. All we did differently was we ticked on the quarterback run box. Okay? So, field goal, long pass, field goal, field goal. 21 passes, 54 rushes. So not huge differences. 4 more passes, 14 less runs, but that could be a time of possession thing. That could be turnovers, penalties. There's a lot of things that could be. But we still see it's heavily weighted towards the run. Now, more importantly, let's see, yards per pass was 11. So that's much better than the 3.8 that it was before. And 4.3, which is better than the 3.8 it was before. All right, now, Muller, with the tick box on, had 3 carries. So not, that's a 200% increase, I guess, from 1 to 3, but he lost 8 yards, so he did not fare very well. Now, Hinkle only had 3 carries this game. Carter's a wide receiver. That's odd because I don't remember having any wide receiver runs whatsoever. And then all the rest of these guys, if I remember correctly, are tailbacks. And, it's just like any game, though. You have to keep in mind, not every game is going to be identical, from one game to the next. So we're still seeing the run-heavy offense, but in this game, they didn't run a lot of the dive plays. And, in fact, we can run the play analysis. So we had 8 passes on first down to 25 runs, 8 passes to 21 runs on second down, 7 to 9 on third down, and 1 run on fourth down. We still had 5 fullback dives, just didn't gain a whole lot of yards. Option left, option right, power dive, running back screen. I'm really curious as to what play the that the fullback, the wide receiver, ran the ball. That's weird. Unless, was there a fumble maybe? Fumbles? No fumbles. Okay, so we weren't as efficient in the running game, although we still had quite a few more runs than we did passes, and I'm okay with that. Now we still, this is where it's a little weird because we have played mostly starters, yet our first and second string running backs are pretty even. So maybe that's another question I need to pose is, okay, that's what I would expect from a running back by committee. Well, no, that's not true because if we're running equal balances of left and right, of the option left, option right, which we are, remember, and I can't put it here on the screen, but if your OU symbol here is the fullback, then you have 2 running backs behind him, one over here, one over here, and so the fullback takes the dive up the middle. This running back, which would be Dove probably, takes the option left, and then Smith takes the option right. So if we're running those plays at the highest weight, which we are at 10, then it would stand to reason that they would each have equal carries. So no, that makes sense. And then Acosta having 12, he is basically the backup to both of these guys. So whenever one of them comes out, Acosta plugs in. So he could run left, he could be running right. And then Benoit is just filling in at when there's the need for basically a third string running back. So that's your first string combined. So 31 carries for your primary back. I'd like to still see a little bit more out of my fullback and more, of course, if he's going to average negative 2.7 yards, I don't want to see very much more, but still, if we get the right quarterback in there, Something to think about. All right, well, let's go ahead and put a cut into this video, and we'll come back in the next one. We've got another bye week, another week of recruiting, and then we have our last game of the season against Oklahoma State. Now, while I'm thinking about it, so I don't forget, we're going to reset all of these. But now I want to put in the option attack. And I'm going to go with the spread attack here. Now this is what we did early in the season. So we're going to use the spread. And you know what? Since that box is supposed to help, I'm good with that. Now let's check our, alright, so I want to go down to 22 here. First and short, I want to be 26. I'm okay with passing more there. Yeah, let's go with that. We'll save that. Okay, I wanted to do that while I was thinking about it, so that sets us up for our last game. And now what we're doing is we're using the default playbook, so you don't have to go in and create your own, and I want to see how viable that is. So let's go ahead and put the cut here. We'll come back with the next episode, which should get us to the end of the regular season, and we'll see how that goes in the last game. So guys, thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time. Appreciate it.